Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, this is the In Wheel Time Car Show. Your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, and Jeff Zekin. Don Armstrong here with you. So glad that you could join us today. And we've got a guest coming in on Zoom right now, and his name is Jim Owens. He's the Shelby marketing man and ambassador of Goodwill. Jim, thanks so much for joining us on a Saturday.
We're so glad to be here. You know, a week before National Mustang Day, what better time to than reach out and talk to our friends in Houston?
Well, you're not busy or anything, are you, Jim?
We're getting ready. We're going to actually be down in the great state of Texas this coming week. We're doing the Shelby GT 500 track tour at Texas Motor Speedway at Bruton's Place. And we've invited about 400 people to come in and drive the Shelby GT 500s with the Ford Performance Racing School instructors.
I know that we all got our invitations, and
404.
We all got our invitations, and unfortunately, we're just going to have to decline because we're all so darn busy down here. Not.
Well, I mean, honestly, I thought we reached out to most of the Tawa people. I can ask my communications team.
No,
to have you.
No,
Weird.
Jim, I'm just jacking with you, my friend. And not to worry, it's all good.
I was going to say, they're doing 160 on the Roval. Texas Motor Speedway is actually knocking a hole in the wall so we can use the inside road course and the Roval, the outside oval. So in the hot laps, people are going to be probably getting up to about $160 coming in before the paperclip.
I'm not worthy of driving something like that, but I sure am worthy of sitting in that front passenger seat. Yeah, I'll do that any day.
Well, the cool thing about it is...
Yeah, so you know what we do, right, is we let them drive first with the instructors in their headset, and then we give the hot lap, right? We don't give the hot lap first.
Yeah, show them what it can do, and you've got a pro there.
So, what kind of prep do these cars go through to do this?
Yeah, so we did it back in 2015, 2016 with the GT350.
Yeah,
and we tried to go to every track that Carroll scored points in the 60s that was still running. We missed one of the Washington tracks, and then we missed Watkins Glen because they were repaving. And now we're doing it on the GT500 as well. But what we do is our proving grounds have a certification assessment. So when the engineers go and drive the vehicles to do the testing, there's a certification process. And each of those vehicles, before they get on the reliable carrier, go straight through the same engineering testing assessment that the test vehicles do. So we want to make sure not only are customers safe on a track, but also, safe from COVID. So,
Jim, you don't do any special prep for these cars that are on this tour with you?
No. So we have both the carbon fiber handling package cars, the carbon fiber track package cars, and just the handling package cars. So, those come with camber plates, adjustable camber plates. So we do set the setting to, what's in the owner's manual for track use. Other than that, these are the same. They come off the dealership showroom.
These are Shelby's. These are what's expected of that car and that brand.
I know, but, they
don't have to make it up to take it to the track. It's made to take to the track.
Well, I understand, but, I hear of, factory race cars, and the factory does make, an R or whatever designation they've got. And if you really want it to go extra fast, well, okay, you can do that.
That's when you go get the Hertz car.
On this car, we want it to be the actual car that you can take off the dealer lot. So, for example, when we did it in Las Vegas before COVID, and we ran the drag strip and the road course, and literally people were running mid 10.8 stock.
Wow.
Stock. Yeah.
Bone stock.
Yeah. So
we want customers to enjoy the car. And I mean, if you think about it, and you guys have chatted with me before, we offer the Ford Performance Racing School for everybody who purchases a GT350, a Mach 1, a GT500, a Raptor, the old Focus RS, even going back to Boss 302. Those are the same cars that are doing last year we put almost 6,000 people through those classes.
Wow.
And those are the exact same vehicles that you get at the dealership.
Jim, what does a Mustang go through when it comes to Shelby?
So for Shelby American, Gary Patterson, who's the president and CEO, and Vince Laviolette, who's their chief R&D and test driver, they take a lot of the things that we would have wanted to do, like our engineers, but because we're set up for driving full out on the streets, meeting the corporate guidelines. There's some things that individuals might want to do to their car that don't fit into, what we can do from a corporate base.
Yeah, the corporate world.
Right. But I mean,
and then Gary and Vince make it a wide body convertible with wider tires and 850 horsepower.
Right, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, don't you do some sort of body strengthening, some sort of suspension work, and obviously engine work?
Yeah. There's two. So if you think about it, the Shelby that comes out of the Flat Rock assembly plant is akin to a Mustang in the platform. Basically the foundation and the platform. Then all of the suspension, cooling, brakes, tires, calibration, engine, supercharging, exhaust, all of those things get changed from the base Mustang at the plant. Then once you buy it from your dealer, you can take it even the next step and go to Shelby American and Gary out in Vegas and have it upfitted even further. And yeah, they do torsional rigidity stuff. Their wide body kit is amazing. I mean, putting that tire, that horsepower down, you need a wide tire, and their wide body kit literally accommodates that wider tire that allows you to get that.
Are they steel-bodied fenders?
They're aluminum. They're aluminum and steel. The stuff that Shelby American does afterwards is fabricated steel. It's not the fiberglass.
Yeah, I think to quote your founder, there's never too much horsepower. It's just a lack of traction.
Yeah, Carol always loved. I mean, working for him was so much fun. I mean, and a lot of people saw the movie and all that stuff, but he wanted to challenge everybody to make it more. And, I remember him walking in with Derek Kuzak, who used to be the chief engineer for the company, and he'd walk in and he'd be like, Derek, I need more horsepower. And that's, back when we had 500, and then we went to 540 on the KR, and then 662, and now 760. I know someplace he's looking down and smiling and asking still for more horsepower.
Yeah. So, where are you currently physically located?
I'm in Dearborn. So I went and worked for, I worked for Ford for 22 years, left and went to work for Carol for 4. When Carol started getting sick again and, thought it was closer to the end, he wanted somebody back on the Ford side who was Shelby. So I went back to work for Ford. So I worked in Dearborn, mostly out of my house now, given COVID. But we still are doing our events this year, which is nice. The outdoor events, we're doing them safely, obviously, both from a track and a COVID standpoint. But yeah, so I came back in 2012. So launched the Boss 302, the 2015, the Gen 6, the GT350, then went over to the Ford Performance team and launched the Ford GT, working for Henry Ford III. Then when the 2020 Shelby GT500 was going to launch again, I had to come back over and do that.
Of course you did.
Jim, do you ever get into the stable of Mustangs there and then take one that's drop the top and take it down Hines Drive?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. My girlfriend's son has an 06 that he's updated it to include the Ford Racing cams, the air intake. He stole my KR exhaust. It sits at about 106 decibels at idle.
Oh, gosh.
That one out occasionally just to have some fun with the neighbors.
Yeah. Hines Drive was a big meetup place back in my day.
Yeah, Hines Drive and Woodward still's the place. Like he went out with his buddies last night, went and saw a movie, and then they went to Hunter House and Dairy Deluxe and cruised Woodward in the Mustang.
It's what you're supposed to do.
So it still happens even today.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Jim, is Shelby making a pickup truck?
Yeah, and they've done such a great job. There is a pre-title version in partnership with Tuscany, which is out of Indiana, where they make the F-150 and the F-250, which is, bigger horsepower, much larger, racing kits, big tires, different exhaust. Not unlike the automobile industry, trucks are doing more than cars.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, obviously the SUVs, from Ford's standpoint, I have the Mustang and the Fusion left from the car side. And Gary and even like the people at Roush, they're doing more trucks right now than they are doing Mustangs from a modification standpoint.
Well, the beautiful thing is Shelby is active in the enthusiast community. You guys are out there coming to meets, going to meets, asking to join the Mustang clubs, events and stuff, so that you become the face of Shelby that they have easy access to. So, yeah, they have their cars, but a lot of times people may have those cars, but they never get to see the people who build them. And with as much time as you spend and others within the organization spend at all of these meets, you offer that over and above what most all of the other modifiers are out there doing.
Yeah, I mean, we work closely with Shelby American, from the Ford side. Like, honestly, we go to all those events. I mean, you guys have seen the stuff that we do. Shelby joins us. Roush joins us quite a bit. So there are even like Classic Design and Gateway Classic Mustang, those groups. Like, I've traveled with them for 20 years. Like, and they're part of the enthusiast fabric.
Right.
Because it is more than just a car. Right, it's a lifestyle, and it's something you engage with. Like for National Mustang Day, on Saturday we're going to be starting at the Detroit train station, the building that Ford bought and is refurbishing. We're going to head out to Haggerty's car collection in Ann Arbor. Then we're going to come back to Dearborn and Ford's garage, and I'll bet you we have 300 Mustangs, including Mach-E's, the Mustang Mach-E's, and the Shelbys and the Roushes. All joining us together because it is a group and it's a family. And, Roush has specific product attributes they put in. Jack and his team, really have specific attributes. Carroll and his merry band of hot rodders have the same thing, different attributes. So you can like Shelby without not liking Roush, right? So it's not a competition. It's a family.
Right. And is there you mentioned it, so I'm going to ask, is there a plan within Shelby American to play around with the Mach-E?
Again, I can't speak for Gary and the team. I used to be able to. Now I'm, for employee. But, Gary and Vince and the entire team out there are always looking at the next available Mustang, SUV, or truck to modify. So it wouldn't be surprising to me in the least bit, because that's instant torque.
Yes.
Carroll tested a natural gas and electric Cobra back in the day in the parking lot at Gardena, and doing like huge burnouts, and the smile on his face when he came out of it was, unbelievable. And the torque is instantaneous.
Right.
Right. And there's a lot of things you can do to have fun with those. And, the Ford team and the Mustang Mach-E GT and the GT Performance package, the suspension and handling on the Mach-E GT was done at our race center in Charlotte, on our simulators there in Charlotte.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so the Mach-E is a good, proud member of the Mustang family, and I'm sure people are going to tweak it. Now, differently, obviously, right? You
Sure.
put a supercharger or exhaust on it, right? But, they will be tweaking calibrations and battery packs, I'm sure, to have a lot of fun. The aftermarket always does it. It'd be cool to see at SEMA.
What are sales like now with the GT 500? I mean, is the demand you can't build them fast enough? 6 months, 9 month wait, that type of thing.
Yeah. So on those vehicles, and historically, normally I don't call out a specific number. Like on Boss 302, we said we're going to do 3,000 in the U.S. of the base bosses and 700 of the Laguna Secas. In GT350 in 2015, which was the launch year, I said I'd do 50 of the tech, 50 of the track, and 37 of the R to match the number that Carroll thought was built in originally in 2015. Other than that, we limit production, right? We will not fulfill demand, period.
Yeah, and that's intentional.
Right. There is a waiting time associated with it. We will do, how do we say this? A limited number that ensures that the customers who buy them maintain the value in their vehicle.
Well, that's well put.
Yeah.
That's a company man if I ever heard one.
I like your style.
I've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah,
but,
apparently.
You don't want that, right? You don't want to. You want it to still be special.
Yes.
Like the stuff that we do with Shelby's and. Even like the Bullet and the Mach 1, that Mach 1, you guys, I cannot wait till you drive it. I know they're getting out into the press fleet soon. We went up to the streets of Willow, and then I ran it at Mustang Club of America 45th anniversary last weekend at Road Atlanta. That car on the track is so much fun and then so docile and responsive on the street. And again, that's going to be another limited production. We're not going to build to full demand. So there's a lot of those out there, and we're just happy that, our engineering men and women have developed those product attributes that our Mustang faithful love.
Well, your Mustang fanatics love because they are a fanatical group of owners, proud of the ones that they own and always wanting the next one as well. So the new Mach 1 is going to be a huge hit.
Yeah, we were at Barrett-Jackson 2 weeks ago. And we auctioned off VIN 1 for JDRF. Edsel Ford and the Ford Motor Company support the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yep.
You only raised $500,000 with it, right? That's a beautiful thing to do.
It blew me away. I literally thought it was going to be a $200,000, $300,000 car. I thought the Bronco would be $1 million, and it was. But Mach 1, I just thought, okay, maybe $200,000, $300,000 for a good cause. It ended up being a new bidder to Ford Motor Company, whose granddaughter was diagnosed recently with type 1 diabetes.
Oh, wow. And
he is a car collector and a Mustang fan, and he saw what Ford Motor Company had done, which includes, donating more than $70 million to JDRF and raising almost $8 million, a little over $8 million now, in the sale of collector cars. He and his wife sat there and told me they were willing to go up to $600,000 because they wanted to help their daughter and they loved the car.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and then it was kind of cool. So he's probably in his 60s, and he is kind of geeky, like collector like us. Loves the cars. So then I talked to the engineering team. I'm like, hey, can we go back and rebuild it as a handling package for him? Because we can't build the handling package cars in the winter in Michigan because the tires get too hard for safety purposes. And, we were building the car because we thought Barrett was going to be in January, so we couldn't put the handling package on it. So we took the car, we shipped it back. It's sitting in our engineering garages right now, and we're adding the handling package for him.
Oh, how cool is that? But again, that just comes down to how fanatical the buyers are for the Mustang brand. And I'm sure that car is going to get packed away somewhere as VIN 0001 of the new Mach 1. And it'll be.
Yeah, we do hope they drive it. I mean, Carroll used to force us to drive. I use that term loosely. Would force us to drive Cobra 1 before he sold it because he always wanted it driven. And I remember being out at Monterey, driving it from the Jet Center back to Laguna Seca in the dark at night. The lights go out, and I'm like, I am driving a priceless vehicle. But Carroll always wanted you to drive your cars and enjoy them.
Wow. Nice job if you can find it, huh? So what do you
again, I'm blessed.
What do you drive now that you're working at Ford?
So I'm in the middle of moving right now. So I drive an F-Series. I still have my 07 GT500 KR from when I was working with Carroll. So I take that out when I can. And then I take one of my favorite cars to drive is the flat plane crank GT350.
What a sound!
One of the Heritage editions. There's that music that a flat plane crank makes, pulling torque all the way up to 8,250 RPMs, is a magical experience.
Yes.
And I still love driving that one.
So I know Ford's going to have, and I imagine Shelby will be with them, and I assume Roush as well. You guys will have a presence at Woodward this year. What do you want to divulge the plans?
Yeah, they're still looking. The state of Michigan is still, battling COVID like the rest of the country. So if Woodward, and right now it is still scheduled to go on, and if it does go on, we will still be doing Mustang Alley at 9 Mile in Ferndale at Woodward, and hope for more than 1,000 Mustangs to show up. We always do something fun. One year we did a burnout box. So the neighbors decided that all the smoke rolling through the neighborhood wasn't a good thing.
Hey, you're just keeping the mosquitoes down.
Jim,
but we'll always do something fun there.
Jim, it is a true honor and pleasure to talk to you, and we wish you the best of luck. Let's stay in touch, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Keep us up to date if anything comes down the pike.
Absolutely. You can tell I enjoy doing this, and thank you for carrying on the hobby and the love and affection for the cars. We really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you. Again, thanks, Jim Owens with the Ford Motor Company and the Shelby marketing man, ambassador of goodwill. I kind of threw that in there, but he is really.
Really?
Yeah,
and we all want his job.
Yeah, everybody.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, time now for This Week in Auto History. You have that, I believe.
And Jeffy will cue up the video.
We're queuing.
This Week in Auto History. In 1926, Grand Prix racer Jack Brabham was born in Hurstville, New South Wales, Australia. He was credited with having run the green decade of Formula One racing between 62 and 73, where the British Formula One teams won 12 world championships, all with that British racing green. You had mentioned the British racing green earlier in your review. Brabham raced alongside greats like Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart, Graham Hill, Denny Hulme, and actually Jack Brabham's son, Jeff Brabham, was also an F1 Formula One driver. In 1932, Ford Motor Company publicly unveiled the V8, the flathead 8-cylinder V8, and became a huge hit, and that was built all the way through to the 50s. Early 50s was the Ford flathead V8 in different iterations. In 1970, AMC, the company that first introduced the compact car back in the 50s, introduced the Gremlin.
Yes.
America's first subcompact car. AMC was the only major independent car company to survive the 70s.
Was that the first hatchback? No.
No. There were others prior to that. In 1993, Alan Kulwicki, the 1992 Winston Cup Championship, passed away in a car crash near Bristol, Tennessee. Alan, the son of a USAC mechanic and engine builder, Jerry Kulwicki, grew up in Milwaukee. His father didn't approve of his son racing cars, but again, Alan won the NASCAR championship. And if you ever watch, some of the NASCAR guys will run backwards. Yeah. That is called the Polish victory lap, and that is all in honor of Alan Kulwicki.
That's the way I drive.
In 1996, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City placed the Jaguar E-Type in its permanent exhibit, and one of 3 cars to be honored with that. In 1998, German automaker BMW bought Rolls-Royce for $570 million. And then in 2001, Big Daddy Ed Roth, famous artist, auto builder, and cartoonist who created the hot rod icon Rat Fink, and you can see it over my shoulder here, and other extreme characters, he passed away at the age of 69. As a custom car builder, Roth was a key figure in Southern California's custom culture of the hot rod movie, hot rod era of the 60s. So... and we're going to do a little bit more on Big Daddy Roth next week. And
why next week?
Because I had all of this prepared for this week, and I just got a note here that says out at 5:56 at 56:15. So I'm going to give that back to you, Don. Trying to get you ahead of the game.
He didn't finish your sentence.
Well, he could.
No, I don't do that.
He's going to go ahead and start the next one.
So. Anyhow, we're getting visitors here at Studio A.
We're in live studio audience.
Well, that's okay.
Yep.
We're always willing to.
You're welcome to come in.
We'd love to have
I have
you.
a chair right
Come
here.
on in.
She
Got
went
a
that way.
chair. See, it's Jeff's wife, Kathy.
So that is this week in automotive history.
Well, thank you
The
very
end.
much. The end. All right. Well, we'll go with that. Next week, we will be at Tailpipes and Tacos at a different location that we normally are at. Now, the Tailpipes and Tacos event will continue as it normally would out at the Katy location. Where we normally would be. Next weekend, we're going to be at what is called Loopy number 2, which was the first expansion, and that's going to be at the Kirby Drive location next to Academy Sports and Outdoors, right there on 5969, the Southwest Freeway. We'll be there from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., which just happens to coincide with the Tailpipes and Tacos hours.
Strange how that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we invite you to come by, and hopefully you'll stop in and say hello, whether you've got a cruise-in car or not, because you can come in, park your car separate.
Check out everything else that's there.
Yeah. It's a fun event. It's a family event, and they'll have breakfast tacos, and
They're
they'll
good,
also
too.
have Bloody Marys and
Mimosas.
those funny little orange juice drinks.
I prefer the Bloody Marys.
I do too.
I prefer the tacos.
5 or 6 of them. Tacos, that is.
Yeah. So at any rate,
And
all right,
I'll
we're
be
going.
signing autographs.
Nice save.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to wrap up today's events after this.
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 in Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Loopy Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Loopies are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In real time, we'll be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Well, that's it for this episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. When you're on Facebook, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you will. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features, along with all things automotive all week long. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Pandora, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podcast Addict, among others. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Our Video Technical Director, Sales and Marketing Man, Mr. Jeffrey, we need more Jeff Zekin. This week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by Chaos. For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars, his royalty king Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our next live show next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time, where we'll be broadcasting from a new Tailpipes and Tacos location on 59, the Southwest Freeway, between Shepherd and Kirby Drive, next to Academy. Right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Goodbye for now, everybody.